Yes, thank you so much for joining me on today's session. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, everyone. Yes, it's the first Friday live in the month of July, alhamdulillah. And in this month of July, we're going to be talking about discipline. We already said that discipline is what we're going to be talking about. My name is Marufa Otolori. I'm not going to assume that you know me. And I am the founder of Lola Loves Parenting. And today we're going to be talking about helping your children to learn and grow through discipline. If you can hear me, if you can see me, drop your comments in the comment section. Let me know that you are with me and you're about to go with me on this ride this evening, inshallah. Right. So kindly help us to, invite other parents also. Let them also come and benefit from this session tonight. Right. So yes, today we're talking about helping your children to learn and grow through discipline, like I have said. Right. So why are we even saying this? Before we go on to this session, if you were at Sex Educate Your Child with Care course, kindly share with me, how was it for you? If you were not there, you see, when we say discipline, it's just teaching. It's just teaching. And if we are not teaching sex education, so many other things and people are teaching it to our children. We might not know, but then that's exactly what is happening, right? So when we say discipline, that is still part of discipline. You want to catch a replay of those sessions, right? It's just for 3,999. It's not, it has not increased. Please catch a replay of that session. Catch a replay of that course and go and listen to it. If you were there, kindly share a little bit of your experience with other parents here in the comment section. I would really appreciate that, right? So let's go right into today's session, discipline, right? A lot of parents struggle with discipline. This is something that is well known. A lot of parents struggle with discipline. And like I always say, it is like that because the curriculum that we're using, discipline there that was given to us, it was something that our parents struggled with too. Or they might not even struggle with it with the intention that what they were doing were working or was working, right? But then it was not working. It didn't work. It didn't work only if we agree. Because it is when we agree that it didn't work, that's when we'll try to now look for what really worked, right? It didn't work, right? So a lot of parents struggle with discipline just because the people who raised us also struggled with the same thing. Because the discipline that we knew was the one that doesn't work, but the one that damages. It was the one that damages. It damaged so many people. It damaged so many children. It damaged us to the extent that now that we have grown up, we have to heal before we can actually thrive. This is something that I say every time. There's a discipline that actually works. Yes, there is. And it is something that we can learn and implement if we really want to do that. It is something that we can learn. It is something that we can implement if we really want to do that. We need to first of all agree, right, that the discipline that was done, or what we saw as discipline, was not discipline. It is from that agreeing that we'll now be able to say, okay, yes, if this didn't work, then let us now ditch it and look for something else that will work, because there's something else that will work. So we need to first of all agree that shouting, yelling, and physical violence never really works. It never works. We need to also agree that there are no bad children. I always say, when people talk about discipline, people just, see it as, it is something you need to do for children that are bad. There are no bad children. I would appreciate if someone can help me put that in the comment section. There are no bad children, because our children were not given to us damaged. This is something that I have said over and over. And that's why there are no bad children. We just have people. We just have, yes, children that have bad behavior. Right. Thank you, Mr. Rafiat. We have children that have bad behavior. We even have adults who have bad behavior too. You see that I brought my voice down because I didn't want my children to hear. We also have children. We also have parents, adults that have bad behavior too. So we do not have damaged children. We do not have bad children. We just have people with bad behavior. We have young children with bad behavior, and we have parents that do not know better. So it's just like, yes, we have children with bad behavior, and we do not know parents. We do not have parents that know better. And that's why we keep doing the things that we even know that are not working for us. Yes, we only have children that have bad behavior. Yes, even adults too that have bad behavior. Yes, that is the truth, right? So, when we talk about disciplining our children, no parent wants to eat their children, because all of us usually come from that place of, I love my children. Hey, I love my child, this and that. We don't want to hit them. That is the truth. We don't want to be violent on them. But we do all of this because we do not know better, right? We do not know better. If we knew better, we would do better. Then what happens? Because we do not want to hit our children, because we do not want to be in a place whereby we are violent with our children, what happens is that we hit them. Then what happens? We now regret it. Who has been on that table before? You finish beating your child, or you finish doing something to them. Then you now sit down and regret it. You now start regretting. And you will not come back and start saying something. That's when we'll start saying something. And I did not want to beat you, but you caused it. And I did not want to do this, but you caused it, right? Yes, that is something that mostly happens. We'll now come to that place of, and I did not want to do this. So that's another problem on its own. We have done something. We are not accepting the fact that we have done that thing. We are now blaming our children for it. You can imagine. That's another thing entirely. Discipline is taking responsibility too. Knowing that, yes, I did this thing, not because my child made me do it, because I could choose better. I have choices. I could have reacted, or I could have responded in a different way. Right? We're not even going there today. We're talking about, disciplining our child today. We're not talking about the fact that, we do something, then we push it to our children. Right? So, this is because we do not know what to do. We lack the knowledge, and we are struggling. We are struggling with what to do. We're struggling of, what exactly do I need to put in place for this child to listen to me, for this child to do what I want them to do, and all of those things. We are struggling. Then what happens? We throw adult tantrum. Yes, it's adult tantrum. What do I mean by adult tantrum? It's just that thing that we do when we lack language, when we don't know what to do. You see what we do? We start shouting, I've told you to do this. You did this. I've told you to do that. Things like that. We start to throw in adult tantrum. You see, I like to say that I understood this adult tantrum better when I started living in a place whereby people don't understand my language. Yes, adult tantrum. What you do when you don't know what to do, right? When you lose language, when you lose communication, right? When I started living in the midst of people that, I didn't understand their language. A few of them understood me, but I didn't understand them. So when they're having a meeting, when you lose language and communication, yes. So when we're having a meeting like that and just talking, do you know what happens? I don't know what to say. I'm just there, like a figurehead. I'm just angry. I'm just angry. I don't have language. I don't have communication. It's the same thing that happens to us. So when we lack language, when we lack communication, what happens is that we become violent. We become violent because we are seeking attention, just like children will do. When they are unable to communicate what they want to us, what do? They start throwing themselves on the floor. They start shouting. They start jumping up because they lack language. Because they don't know how to communicate. And when they start jumping up, and all of those things, what happens? We give them our attention. That's exactly what is happening. So for us as adults too, because we feel that our children are not listening to us, because they are not doing whatever it is that we want them to do, and all of those things, what do? We start throwing adult tantrum. Why? Because we want attention. Because we crave attention. We become violent. Are we getting it? That's exactly what happens. But then if we know what to do, if we know what to put in place, if we know better, if we do not want children to just automatically start behaving like adults, then we would understand better and we will not always be violent with our children. Right? So research has shown that repeated shouting, when you continue to shout, and eating can impact a child's entire life. Research has shown this, and this is something that, even when it comes to, talking about the brain and all those things, it is something I've seen. Parents who registered for, master your emotions, they will understand this better. This is something we keep saying, because this is something parenting really relies on, using the brain. So what happens is that if you are constantly in the place of shouting, yelling, nagging, beating your children and all of those things, it impacts a child's, entire life. And of course, not positively, it's negatively. Because you are just helping that part of their brain that does not think. So you're killing it. We're not going there tonight, right? And this is one of the biggest challenges that we have in our society today, right? So this is research proven. And this is something that I have been able to sit down to do my deep, findings about it. Right? So we need to know these things. So we need to know already. And that's why I said that for us to be able to do better, we need to first of all come from the place of, okay, yes, what I am doing is not working. Then I need to ditch it and start doing what works. Right? So how then do we begin to help our children learn and grow via discipline? So the question now is, we already said that discipline is not what we used to know. It is not punishment. It is not shouting. It is not nagging. It is not all of those things, right? Because all of those things, research has proven that it impacts a child's entire life negatively, right? So we want to teach it. So what do we need to start doing? How do we need to start disciplining our children in a way that it makes them learn and it makes them to grow? Because we need to know, first of all, that if we're saying, yes, we're parents, I'm a parent, I have this. Without discipline, we can't raise responsible children. And when we say discipline in the right light. So without discipline, we can't raise responsible children, right? Without discipline also, there is no parenting. Because when it comes to intentionally raising your children, it is hinged on on discipline. And without it, we can't even raise righteous children too. Yes. Do you agree with me? Yes, we want to raise righteous children. Children that pray even if you do not tell them to do that. Children that, they're able to carry their Quran, they are able to read it, they're able to act accordingly, they are able to, they have good character. If we do not instill discipline in them in the right form, we won't be able to raise our children to be righteous. That's one thing we need to know. So we can't raise righteous children. We can't raise wholesome children. We can't raise responsible children. Yes. Without discipline, yes. So we can't raise responsible children. That is one thing we need to know. So are we saying that you should stop being violent with your children? Yes, because that is not discipline. But are we saying that we should stop disciplining our children? No, because, intentionally raising our children is based on disciplining them. Without disciplining our children, we can't raise responsible children. We can't raise awesome children. We can't raise righteous children. This is something we need to know. So a lot of people, they misinterpret all of these things. Oh, those that say you should not discipline your children. We're not saying you should not discipline your children. We're saying that we should not be violent with your children, because that is not what discipline is. We're saying that we should do discipline in the right light. Are we together? So how do we now start to discipline a child? How do we now start to discipline a child in a way that they learn and they grow? Because we need to get something. If you're not learning, you're not growing. If you are not learning, you're not growing. We're not talking about physical growth here. Of course, if you're not learning anything, you will have physical growth, of course. But then, if you're not learning, you're not growing intellectually. So how do we now begin to discipline our children in a way that they are learning and they are growing? The first thing that we need to do is to understand what discipline is and what it is not, which we have spoken about. It is not being violent. It is not punishment. It is not shouting. It is not yelling, right? So what then is now discipline? Discipline is structure. Structure. And, without structure, there's no discipline. Right. I'm going to go deep down because this is something, someone has told me, you talk about this structure. What does it really mean? So we're going to go deep, down into it today, inshallah. Right. So when we say that structure, we need to start asking ourselves, have I created the structure that will actually help my children to learn and to grow? So we need to start asking ourselves, am I disciplining or am I destroying? Because if you are not disciplining, if what you are doing is being violent, tell me in the comment section. There's nothing that violence goes into that doesn't get damaged, that doesn't get destroyed. Think about it. There is nothing at all. if you put violence into something, then you cannot expect a good result from that thing. That's just the truth. We have some people say that, it's not everything that has to do with, but the truth is, think about it properly. If you put violence into something, it is either that thing becomes destroyed or damaged. That's it. So when you do not discipline appropriately, your child doesn't learn. Your child does not learn. And if your child isn't learning, your child isn't growing intellectually, like we said. And that's why, the same complaint that we had when our child was 3, we have the same complaint when our child is 4, when our child is 5, when our child is 6, the same complaint, because that child is not learning, that child is not growing. I've explained the fact that we feel that, this thing is working because of the things that we see, but there's something that is actually happening to the brain of that child. We're not going to go there today too, inshallah, right? So let's just go straight. So a child who is not learning will not be able to do better. And that's why I said that. That's why the same thing you corrected your 5-year-old. When that child turns 6, you're still saying the same thing. When that child turns 7, you're still saying the same thing, because there is no structure. So a child who you want to learn and grow must be disciplined appropriately using structure, like I have said. So when we talk about structure, what does this mean? It's just trying as much as possible to put everything that you want your child to do, to put it in place in a way that they understand it and they are not confused about it. They understand it and they are not confused about it. So you must be able to put that structure in place. Okay, it's just hinged on routines, right? A lot of the time, most parents, what they complain about is this child is not doing what they are supposed to do. This child is not, he's not listening. He's not this, he's not that. Because a lot of the time, we didn't start early. So we struggle with it. We keep struggling with it. So when we say structure, it's just you putting in place the things that your children, you know that. And one thing about putting structure in place is that there are several other things that you need to know before you can actually put the appropriate structure in place. You need to consider your child's learning style. How does my child learn? Is my child an audio learner? Is he a visual learner? Is my child a kinesthetic learner? That is what will help you to put all of those things into place. So if you, for example, now your child is a visual learner and you want your child to be able to follow a particular routine when that child wakes up, you have to put it in a chart, paste it in their room, put it in strategic places. The things that you want them to do, put it in strategic places. Then your child will be able to go through, okay, yes. And one thing about it is that it becomes a habit for them. They continue to see it. They continue to know that, okay, yes, this is what I'm supposed to do. Yes, this is what I'm supposed to do. Another problem that we have is that when we now do that thing, when we put a chart, for example, now, then we expect that our children will just pick it up once like that. No, it doesn't work that way. We'll get there. So we need to know that, first of all, we need to put the right structure in place. Right? So your discipline must teach self-discipline skills. Right? So now, we're talking about the fact that you need to put structure in place. You're putting structure in place because you don't constantly want to be in the place whereby you're constantly nagging your children. You're constantly saying, yes, I told you to do this. You not do this. So that discipline is something that is not shaping them into something that will make them become self-disciplined. And that's why I keep saying that if your discipline is not making your child self-disciplined, then you have missed it. Because that is the goal. We want our children to get to a place whereby they will be able to know what to do and they will do it. But then, self-discipline is a skill on its own. And it is hinged on discipline itself. Right, so your discipline must teach self-discipline skills. Doing the things that you are supposed to do, even when you do not feel like it. You see this thing? Don't you know already that everything is still going to come back to us, the parents, because that is the truth. It's still going to come back to us, the parents. Because definitely we're going to talk about modeling. So we want to think about it. We want to say, okay, me as a mother now, as a parent now, am I disciplined? Because what does discipline say? Doing the things that you're supposed to do, even when you do not feel like doing it. Yes, we have a lot of us that we have our businesses. We're running a business. And, a lot of the time, we have so many people that are into online businesses now and all of that. And we're not disciplined enough to say that, okay, yes, today I don't feel like posting anything, but I'll still post. That's discipline. Do we always think that Friday life is something that I always want to come for? No, of course. It's not every time that you feel like talking, saying the same thing almost every time, feeling like a broken record, right? But then I know that, number one, reminder benefits the believer. Number two, I know that it is part of my being disciplined that will make me show up because people are expecting that I will show up. That is discipline. So it is not every time that we feel like doing all of those things, but we must show up. Sometimes when I wake up very early in the morning and, we say our askar, we do all of those things, we do, our morning routine and all of those things, right? You feel like going back to bed. But then, because you know that, I cannot just go back to bed, I have to post something today, I have to do this. A lot of people come and ask me this question, how you have to be disciplined enough to do the things that you do not feel like doing. So you want to ask yourself as a mother, or as a father who is listening to me right now, are you disciplined enough? Do you do the things that you're expected to do even when you do not feel like doing it? And that's why I said that the discipline that we thought was discipline back then, or punishment that we thought was discipline back then, was not discipline, because it did not raise us to be self-disciplined. We have lots of this, the course that I just completed in the academy, some days back, we have lots of people on that platform who paid. They paid for that thing, but then they didn't attend to it. They acted like they didn't even commit to it from the beginning. And I just sit down and look at it like, then we'll not come back and say that our own children are not disciplined. We'll get there. Let me not jump. Let me be picking it one after the other, like I've highlighted it here so that I don't miss it. Right. So your discipline must teach self-discipline to your children. Doing the things that you're supposed to do, even when you do not feel like doing it. So you need to you need to skill up your children. You need to skill up your children to be able to do the same thing. Not teaching children to suffer for making mistakes. Because that's exactly where our discipline is from. We make children to suffer because they have not maybe gotten to a particular level that we want them to get to, or because they are making a particular type of mistake. That is not what discipline is also. So it is doing the things so you want to train your children to be able to do the things that they are expected to do, even if no one is telling them to do it, even if they do not feel like doing it. That is the point you want to get to. That is what self-discipline is. Not, not inflicting them with pain when they misbehave. That's not what discipline is. Because the moment you do that, the intention for doing whatever it is that they want to do is going to change. It's just going to be because I don't want my parents to, to lash out, to flog me, or to do certain things for me. Are we getting it? So this is something that we need to think of. So we want to ask ourselves now, am I able to show up for the things that I'm expected to show up for? Do I do the right things, every time, even when I do not feel like doing it? When it is time for Salah, you want to introspect now, because I like to tell people that you need to introspect. If you're seeing a problem in your child, introspect. Think about it. What is it that I need to do? What is it that I have done and I still need to do better? Are you able to pray at the right time? Right? Are you able to engage in the compulsory, task, or even voluntary task of worship? And you feel that, okay, yes, these are the things that are going to get me the reward that I want. Okay, yes, let me do it. I don't feel like doing it, but then let me do it. That is discipline. And one thing about discipline is that it is the basis of our religion too. It is. Because it is discipline that will make you say that, okay, yes, it's time for Salah, and I want to stand up from my bed. It is early in the morning, and I'm not comfortable with standing up from my bed, but then I have to stand up from my bed and pray Salah. So if we're able to think about all of those things, then disciplining our children is something that is going to come with love and with the necessary guidance that our children really need. So think about it. Are we constantly in that place whereby, the traffic light is telling us otherwise, but we're doing otherwise because we're not disciplined? That's going to happen. Are we constantly in that place whereby we know quite all right that when I pour this trash here, it's going to affect some people, or it's going to affect some time, we keep doing it? just because we are Nigerians. There are several things. We can keep giving examples continuously just to let us know that we are not disciplined. We are not disciplined. So we should not place our children on that standard that we ourselves have not, that standard that we ourselves cannot meet. Are we able to follow through with a course? I purposely put this example. Are we able to follow? Yes, we understand that, okay, yes, there's time difference. There are things that I'm doing that is also important and I can't leave it. But then, are you able to go back to it and say that I need to go back to this thing? Because, of course, that is discipline. Doing the things that you do not feel like doing, even, that you're supposed to do, even if you do not feel like doing it. Are we able to start reading a book and actually complete reading that book? So all of these things are the things we want to look at before we want to come and say that, yes, I want to raise children that are disciplined. So the challenge that we have as a society goes down to our definition. Right? Yes, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's very okay. We'll be fine. We'll be all right. This is to call ourselves to attention. Before we now start dragging our children with like generator, we need to call ourselves to, into this. Right? So the challenge that we have as a society goes down to our definition of discipline, like I have said. So when we are able to turn around the definition of discipline and begin to see discipline as a tool to teach our children self-discipline, we'll be able to do a lot of things very well. Then we'll be able to now, drag our children that, okay, yes, you must do this, because they don't even have an excuse. Do you know that we now have children that when you tell them to do certain things, I am not doing that thing, they will tell you to your face that you are not doing it. We might not be able to do that during our own time, but they will still tell you, they will still stylishly tell you, even if you beat them, they will stylishly tell you, Mommy, you said that to me, we should do this. My children have told me before, you said our own bedtime is 9 p.m., but then you don't sleep. You don't go to bed by that 9 p.m. I ask them, what do I do? We are always on your laptop. I'm working. My whole bedtime is different from your own bedtime. Right? So they will drag us. They will tell us that, okay, yes, you want us to do this, but you are not doing it. That's why we need to be careful, because we will not be able to continuously give excuses like that. So we'll be able to put lots of things in place when we're able to change our perspective of, what discipline is really. So teaching discipline will help your children to learn so many things. It helps them to learn delayed gratification. What do we mean by delayed gratification? Choosing to wait for a better reward instead of getting something smaller right away. Right? So now, we're talking about the fact that discipline is doing the things that you are supposed to do even when you do not feel like doing it. So for example, now, you're trying to, you're trying to complete, creating some content. Let's put it that way. But then you don't feel like creating this content. You just want to, you just want to scroll the internet. Let me put it that way. You just want to scroll social media. But then delayed gratification is, okay, yes, I know that creating my content, I'm going to get, that big reward. So let me just do it. When I scroll social media, I'm going to get, that, is there a reward? Or let me say that I'm going to get that satisfaction from actually scrolling social media. But I am delaying gratification of doing something that is going to help me to get a better reward, a long-term, that will help me to achieve a long-term goal rather than scrolling the internet. That's exactly what delayed gratification is. Right? So you are choosing to wait for a better reward instead of getting something smaller right away. That's what delayed gratification is. So you want to put your eye on the prize that, okay, yes, I'm going to get this. So let me just delay gratification. So we want to teach our children the same thing. We want to teach our children the same thing. I've been able to train my children to the extent that they know it's not because it is a rule. It is because it is part of our value. We're back to this value. And that's why if you do not have value systems in your own, there's a problem. You're going to continuously get parenting wrong. So it is part of the value that you don't turn on the television when it is not time for you to do it. And even when it is time, if you've not done the things that you're supposed to do, then I'm so sorry. We might still be struggling with it because, of course, my children, the eldest is 7. Of course, we'll still continue to struggle. But then they are learning. And that's why when it is, example is 5 p.m. is their screen time, right? 5 to 5:45. right? So they might have forgotten that, okay, yes, we need to clean the house and wash the plates before it is time. So when they come and check the time and they see that it is 10 minutes to 5, you just see them rushing to the kitchen, rushing, because they are still learning. It is not a part of them yet. And because we are naturally wired for entertainment. And that's why they will be waiting for the time whereby they will come and watch, TV and all of those things. They will watch their screen and all of those things. Before they will now remember that, we have not watched our picture. And I'll tell them, if you use 20 minutes from your time to actually do the things that you're supposed to do, it's okay. You're still going to turn it on, turn it off when you're supposed to turn it off. We're going to get there. Consequences, we're going to get there. But let's take it one step at a time. So choosing to wait for a better reward instead of getting something smaller right away, right? It helps children to make better, healthy choices. When you put the right disciplinary strategy in place, it helps your children to make better, healthy choices. So the thing is, a lot of the problem that we have in our society today, stemming from immoral acts, sexual promiscuity, examination malpractice, talk about those things. It's just because of the fact that we cannot resist temptation. We are not disciplined enough. All of it still stems from discipline. Inability to resist unhealthy temptation. Children who are unable to practice their religion and be devoted in it like they should be. It's all a problem of not being disciplined, not being self-disciplined. So what happens is that once a child has the opportunity of, living under your roof like this, because they are not self-disciplined, they do anyhow, they do anything they want to do. So self-discipline is the skill that your children will possess that will make them to tolerate discomfort. This thing is not comfortable. Of course, children, they want to clean the house, wash the plates, do this and do all of those things. It's not comfortable. But then when they are self-disciplined, it will make them to, they have that skill to possess, whatever it is that will help that they will be able to tolerate discomfort. They will be able to know that, okay, yes, this thing is not comfortable for me, but then I have to do it because that is what's supposed to be done. So they have that discomfort that is needed to help them reach their long-term goals. Children might not necessarily have long-term goals, but then we should have and communicate it with our children. Right? So self-discipline is key to making your children become responsible adults. Hence, they will not be responsible. They will not be responsible for anything. For anything at all. So we want to think about it. We want to think about it. Is my disciplinary strategy, is it making my children self-disciplined? I would appreciate if someone can help me put that in the comment section. So that's going to be like a reflection prompt for us after this session. Is my disciplinary strategy making my children self-disciplined? You want to go and think about it. If you don't have children yet, think about it. My discipline right now, my level of discipline right now, will it make my children also self-disciplined? Or will it help me to raise disciplined children, even if you don't have children yet? Right, so the things you need to do to teach self-discipline, like I said, you need to put structure in place. Knowing that, I said I was going to go deep down into what structure is. You need to know that, structure is just a similar schedule for your child. Listen, I want us to listen to this very well. A similar schedule that makes your children get used to things. So you're not just here tomorrow, you're there next tomorrow, you're confusing your child. So you have a similar, thank you so much, Ms. Ikma. You are putting a structure down in a way that it is similar to your children. It is something that they get used to. That will help them to always put the things that they are supposed to do. It will help them to put it into perspective. So you have that similar schedule every day. Not that, okay, for example now, your child wakes up today, and the first thing that you usually do is, okay, yes, alhamdulillah, then you wake your child up today, tomorrow, then you say, yes, stand, go and take your bath. So, yeah, go and take your bath. No. Then your child is telling you, Mommy, I have not brushed my teeth. No, you take your bath first, then you brush your teeth. Then you take fruit, then you drink water. You're confusing that child. So that child will not even know what to do. But you can imagine a situation like once your child wakes up, he knows that, okay, yes, alhamdulillah, okay, the next thing for me to do is to brush my teeth, to perform ablution and to pray salah. Okay, let's even talk about very, very young children. They know that, I spelled everything out for my younger children to the extent that I tell them when you wake up, say your askar, greet mom and dad and siblings. They almost have it in their head because they know what to do. So I remember that, okay, if I think I should have people here who are always checking my WhatsApp, update and all of those things. We changed the house that we were staying, some weeks back, right? So, and the routine is pasted in the house that we were before. So when we came here, I knew that I needed to paste that thing back because even if I was hearing something, okay, you saw it, yes, thank you. So even if I know that these children they're almost used to this thing, they know what to do. But then I didn't want to leave any back home. I didn't want to leave any excuse of we did not know what to do, because I know that even if the eldest of them knows the things that they're expected to do, the one that is young might not know yet. So I needed to do what? We needed to write it back again, paste it again, so that they will keep seeing it. What are we doing? We are creating a structure, something similar that will help our children to get used to that routine. Are we getting it? A routine that they get used to every day. So it is afternoon. They know that, okay, yes, these are the things that we're expected to do, so that they are able to, they're able to manage between chores, between homework, and between fun. Are we getting it? So here I said that a morning routine containing the list of things that they need to do every morning. So you're not just here today, you're there tomorrow. You're here today, you're there tomorrow. On Saturdays, they know, okay, yes, so it's Saturday, it is Madrasa day. Okay, our routine might be different. But then, every Saturday, but if you, I was sharing, I think I was still sharing on this platform. There was a day that I prayed Salatul Maghrib at home, and my children, they went to the masjid with their father. Then when they came back from the masjid, they saw me on the phone with my friends speaking, right? And my second son, who is 5 years, was telling me that, Mommy, you need to cut the call now because it's time for Afkar. That's the way they understand that, okay, yes, this is the next thing. This is the next thing. Are we getting it? Are we getting value from this session? If you are getting value and you've not invited your neighbor that you're always hearing their voice, shouting every day, you are getting it wrong. You are not doing that friend a service. You are doing them a disservice. So please share the link with them if you are getting any value. Right? So a morning routine containing the list of things that they need to do every morning, every afternoon. An afternoon routine that makes them to schedule their time between chores, between homework, between fun, and an evening routine that makes them to do the things that they need to do in order to fall asleep easily and wake up early. So they know that, yes, it is evening. We've said our Afkar, we've prayed Salah to Isha. Then the next thing for us to do is to brush our teeth. If you are the family that, takes bath before going to sleep, okay, yes, we take our bath. Then we go to bed. Even if we're not falling asleep, we're just going to be there. They're just going to be in their room. We have lots of houses that 8 p.m., 9 p.m., children are still running a tasketa. They are still on television, watching until 9, 10. Then you expect that child will be able to wake up. I've disciplined myself to the extent that I know that, okay, yes, if I actually want these children to follow this routine and I want to help them through it, I can also turn off the television and be watching now. Even if I'm going to turn on my system, I'm going to work, I can give excuse that, okay, yes, I'm working, but not just sit down and watch television. No. So that's why it is first of all about us, before it is our children. So it makes them to do the things that they're supposed to do for them to be able to go to bed early. Putting structure in place. I hope I have been able to explain, what structure means right now. Right? I hope that I've been able to do that. So one thing we need to know is that when we start early, people become a product of their habits, right? They become a product of their habits. Once you start as early as possible, and children, I like to say that children thrive through routine. Thank you so much, Sigma. They thrive through routines. When you put the necessary routine in place, yes, they become the product of their habits. So by the time children get used to it, it becomes an habit to them. And what do we say is habit for us? Something that you do without even thinking of. You're not thinking about it. You're not thinking about it. You just constantly do it because it is now a habit. Or is it a habit? English is hard. Don't crucify me for English. I'm not teaching English, right? Right? So they become their habits. So by the time children get used to it, it becomes an habit for them. Our goals as parents is to build habits that last and skills that transform our children. I will appreciate if somebody can help me put that in the comment section. Our goals as parents is to build habits that last and skills that transforms our children into what we want to see as adults. That's what our goal is. A lot of the time, we miss it. We feel that our goal as parents is just to raise children that are obedient, that can obey and obey and obey without questioning. If you are still on that table, please get down, because that is not your goal as a parent. That should not be your goal as a parent. So our goal as parents is to help children to build habits that last and skills that transforms. And when we start early, it's easy for us. When we work on ourselves first, it is easier for us. That's why I keep saying that if your parenting is not making you yourself a better person, then you're not parenting right. You're not parenting as you should parent. So equipping children with the skills that help them as they transform into adulthood is what parenting really is. So a lot of the time, we don't have the end in mind. And we need to begin with the end in mind. Yes, I'm having a child. I want to raise this child. What do I want to see in this child in the next 18 years, in the next 20 years? We're just raising our children without a plan. So we need to equip them with the skills that will help them, that will transform them into that adult that we want to see. That's what parenting is. Parenting is not just about food, shelter, and clothing. How do we say it? It's not just about providing. It's not just about providing so that our children can return to us when they grow old. No, we need to stop that mindset already. So you need to keep your children's routine simple so that your children get used to it. Then it becomes a habit for them. It becomes a habit for them. You know, I entered my son's, they have the same room. But then yesterday, it was my 5-year-old's turn to clean the room and his elder brother to wash the place. They changed it like that. And I went to that room that I cleaned and I was like, wow, really? I think about like a 5-year-old. I was so impressed. The way he cleaned the room, I saw him at the entrance of the room trying to pack the dirt that he swept. And I was like, mashallah, we need to start early and not bail our children. We'll get there. Let me not jump to that place. So before doing this, put your child's learning style in mind, like I said. If your child is an audio learner, you might need to, okay, what do I need to put in place? Maybe we need to set alarm every 1 hour. Okay, yes, 1 hour. No. What is my child going to do now? They know that, okay, yes, this alarm is sounding. It's not just sounding. It's sounding for something. Okay, what are we supposed to do? My child is a kinesthetic learner, right? Okay, yes, what are the things that we need to put in place? Because we know that they cannot sit still. They cannot, you want to make it fun for them while they are doing the things that they want to do. A kinesthetic learner is someone that, they learn through hands-on, hands-on materials, hands-on things, putting their hands on something. So there can't be dull moments around them. So you know that, okay, yes, this my child is a kinesthetic learner. And you're thinking of something like, okay, let's see who is going to finish first. Just because you want your kinesthetic learner to be carried along. They love it when it is fun. And they'll be like, hey, I finished before you. As parents, we need to be proactive. So you want to put all of this structure in place, putting in mind the learning style of your children, right? The next thing we need to do to, teach self-discipline for our children is that we need to create values and not just rules. There's nothing that you want to do when it comes to intentionally raising your children that does not require that you put values in place. Create values and not just rules. It's not just about the rule in this house is this. The role in this, there's a sense of belonging you give to your children that they will be able to understand that, okay, yes, in so family, in Shakirullah family, in so person family, in this family, this is how we do things. That is value. So you need to create values and not just rule. Value is higher knowledge that gives a child a sense of belonging. It makes them to know that, yes, I'm a part of this family. In this family, we don't do this. In Shakirullah family, a sense of belonging is a need for children. When they feel belonging to a group of people, they are able to act better than when they just see it as, we're just a family, we're just there. Nothing is uniting us. Nothing identifies, nothing differentiates us from our family and this family. And one thing that should differentiate your family from other family is your own values. What are your family values? Value helps children to understand that, yes, in this family, in Shakirullah family, that's how we use it. So that's the name that is coming to me. In Shakirullah family. Shakirullah is my husband's name, of course. I'm sure some people might be looking at it. Yes, Otolorin is my father's name. right? So there are things we do and things we do not do. That is a sense of belonging. That is just, it's not just, once they are able to say, in this family, they know that, yes, I belong to this family. I need to act. There's a way we do it. We don't just do anyhow. There are things we do. Start very early. Rules are good. Yes, rules are very good. Rules are very good. But then, rules are subset of values. So, yes, we have values. Then we have the things that comes on that, yes, this is our value. This is something I learned it from where I worked when I started having children. And I got to know that this thing really makes sense. And it is something that works across all board. Where I was working, before I left Nigeria, it is something that I think about, like, there's a value in that. There are values, there are set of values in that organization in such a way that you cannot just act anyhow. So there's a way we say that you're a Medmina College student. You're a student of this. You don't just do these things. You don't just do this. Just because that sense of, so it's not just about, no, we don't do this. No, rules. No. It's about carrying children along. Right? So they help your children to do things, not just because you said it. So it's not a matter of mommy said or daddy said. It's a matter of our family says, our family value says. So it's just like you as a parent, it's not just that your children are accountable to you. All of us are accountable to a higher standard of our values. Am I making any sense? So they help your children to do things, not just because you said it. It helps children to internalize the process and not just feel like you are all controlling. That's exactly what happens when there are no values in place. You just be controlling. Yeah, do this. Oh, no. Children need to understand that, okay, yes, this is the process. This is how we do it. Not because mommy or daddy said it, because we have something higher that is directing us to do all of these things. So you're not going to be coming from the place of control. You're not just going to be controlling. Yes, we're going to become controlling. We're just going to say, oh, yes, do this. This is how we do it. Meanwhile, we are not going to be holding ourselves to that standard that we want to hold our children. Right? Our time is fast spent, so I'm going to run now. Right? Let your children face consequences for their action. This is another thing that we need to do to teach self-discipline. Let your children be able to face the consequences of their action. A lot of parents, you see what we do? We bail our children. We bail them, and we don't allow them to face the consequences of their action. And we want them to learn. I'm going to give an example. So, your child has forgotten his homework at home, right? Then that child, forgot that homework. And one way or the other, maybe that child has communicated to you, mommy, I forgot my homework. This is the way. Then what do we now do? We now take that assignment, that homework, we now take it to school. We now say something like, this is your homework. Oh, if you like, forget it again. Some of us might even beat. I told you not to forget it. So I told you not to but you took the homework to that child. That child has not learned. Let that child face the consequences of not coming with the homework, even if it means that the consequences in their school is that they are going to beat them or they are going to punish them. Let them face the consequences. Don't bail your children. I'll give another example for young children. Maybe your child is, at home and they spilled water. Then just because you are stressed, you are annoyed because a child spilling water is not even a good reason to beat that child. You now beat the child. I told you not to do it. Oh, yeah, go inside now. Then you now start cleaning the water. That's bailing that child. So what do you want to do? Let them face the consequences of their action. Yes, you've spilled the water. Yes, it's okay. Take the rag and start cleaning. Just continue to clean. Yes, they might not clean it very, very well like you would do it. But let them face the consequences of their action. Let them. This is something that continues until our children become preteens and teenagers. And they've gone to school, they've done something very wrong. And the consequences of their action is that they are going to be suspended in school for doing something extremely wrong. Then we want to go to school and start begging. Then they start saying something like, if you know what I did to this child, I have beaten this child, I have done this, just please don't suspend. People will now start asking, what did she do? Why is she at home when everyone is in school? Why is this? Why is it? Why is she not going to school? We are paying our children. We are not allowing them to face the consequences of their actions. Yes, let them face the consequences of their action. That is where they will learn and they will grow. So a child who has gone to school and didn't go with his own work, and apart from the fact that, okay, let's even say it's a school that upholds positive discipline and they do not beat, but then that child lost a mark. And maybe that child already has the goal of, okay, yes, I need to do this in this particular, in this particular exam. Or by the end of the day, at the end of the day, I need to get this particular mark. But then that child lost, some marks because that child didn't come. That child has learned that I need to be more careful about going to school with my homework, about doing my homework. That child has learned. That child will grow. That child will learn to do better. That is discipline that actually makes children learn and grow and makes them self-disciplined. So you will not even be in the place to start shouting. You need to start, go and take your own work and put it inside your bag. And children don't learn that way. They don't learn that way. So you need to first of all be in a place whereby you are cool, you are calm. It's not everything you'll be doing. No. So you have told a child, a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, this is your underwear bag. This is where you put your socks. Tie it together, put it here. You've taught them. And maybe early on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday morning, your child is looking for his socks. He did not see it. What do? We now go on top of the wardrobe again, pick a new socks and give it to that child. Or we first beat that child. We first beat that, or we say something bad to that child, or we insult them, we shame them and all of that. We now give them the new socks. We have built that child. That child will not learn. That child will not learn from every other thing that we do. Yeah, it's okay. You don't have a socks to wear. Go to school that way. Go and fix the consequences of your action in school. Yes, that child will feel bad. But that child will learn. They will learn how to come and keep their things. So I hope we understand this, allowing children to face the consequences of their action. So let them face natural consequences for their action without bailing them out. A child who constantly forgets homework, doesn't keep socks and underwear, refuses to keep his personal belongings. A child, you bought food flask, or you bought, let me even say water bottle. You bought it like 4 times in a term for a child who is 8 years, or even 9 years, or 10 years. You are bailing that child. You are bailing that child. That child will not still learn to keep. But if that child should throw away the water bottle and say, okay, oh yes, it is pure water you'll be taking to school now, or one Fanta bottle that you'll be putting your water now. Maybe if you do that for like 3, 4, 5 weeks, and you eventually say, okay, I think maybe you have learned your lesson now, then you buy another water bottle for that. That child will learn to keep that thing. But then if you bail them, beat them, insult them, then buy another thing. That child has not learned. Don't forget, the topic is helping our children to learn and grow through discipline. And we started from understanding what exactly discipline is first of all. Right, let's go. Another thing you want to do is that, we need to know that children need logical consequences, and it is necessary for them on their growth journey if you actually want them to learn and grow, right? So you need to avoid power struggles. Avoid power struggles. So you not be in the situation whereby says you must do that thing. That's how they say no. No, you can't be in that place, and that's why choices comes in. That's where choices come in. I'm so sorry. Am I on? A call came in just now. That's where choices comes in, right? So you want to avoid power struggle. A lot of the time, we want to exercise authority. We want people to feel that, yes, I am the one in charge. Then we start doing things like, you must do that thing. That's power struggle. This one does not even work for teenagers. It might still work for very young children, whereby they feel that, okay, yes, let me just do the things. It's a very good Friday. It's a very, very good Friday today. Alhamdulillah. Right? Don't mind me. I saw something. So you need to avoid power struggles. Forcing your children to do the things will not teach them self-discipline. If you just force them, they will just do it because you want them to do it. But then it has not taught them that this is the right thing to do. And that's where, instead of power struggle or power tussle, people use power tussles. You want to give choices. It's either you do this now, you want to do this now, or you want to do this, or you want to do it in 5 minutes. It helps children to feel in control too. Not just looking like you just want to control, you just want to exercise authority, then there's going to be fight and all of those things. I'm sorry. Right? So teach children that when they make poor choices, there's a consequence. When you allow children face the consequences of their action, they become more responsible. They keep their things better. They do things better because they probably don't want to fall in that situation that they fell into before. So it is something that we need to know, that being violent will not make children to learn these things. This is something that we need to know, right? We're coming to the end gradually. I know that we have spent, I think, an extra minute, but then we need to know that if you want to raise children that are self-disciplined, we need to shape behavior one step at a time. We need to shape behavior one step at a time. The problem that we have as parents is that we want our children to learn everything at once. That's why we complain about this, we complain about that, and that's when I have come to the realization that accountability is something that is very important. We need to be able to view, when we did, I think the first course in the academy this year was about parenting goals. I told parents, you need to choose one thing at a time. Okay, this month, this is what I want to teach my children. This is what I want them to be able to do this month. So we're focusing on this. Even, for example, now, your children are struggling with managing time. Then you want to, say that, okay, yes, this month, what we're going to be learning is time management. Yes. So what we want to learn is time management. So you are constantly in that place whereby, okay, yes, yeah, if it is talking about time, talking about how to manage it, calling your children together to say things like, okay, yes, I know that we're struggling with it. What do you think we can do to make it better? Stop using a fire brigade approach. Or stop being in a place whereby you just want to do everything anyhow. You want child to learn time management. You want them to learn independence. You want to learn discipline. You want them to be able to keep their things. You want them to be able to effectively manage their belongings. You want them to, it's going to be too much for them. And that's why it looks like they rebel. They don't want to listen because they are confused. They don't even know what to concentrate on. They don't even know what they are doing better. So you want to shape behavior one step at a time. And God willing, that's why I said that, inshallah, in the academy, we are going to start, this accountability system. Come next year, may Allah spare our lives. So that we help parents to put all of these things into perspective. You don't become overwhelmed. We know that overwhelm is something that actually affects parents also. We become very overwhelmed. Okay, yes, and things like that. So we want to help them to shape their behavior one step at a time. Apart from the fact that your children are not going to rebel, it helps you to track progress. You're able to say, okay, yes, this child was able to do this or wasn't able to do this before, but this child is now doing it excellently now, alhamdulillah. We can now move to the next thing. That is what it means to raise children who are responsible. Shaping behavior one step at a time. Parenting is a journey. It is not a destination. It is a journey. It's something you will keep, it's a process. We need to put in the process. And that's why it's very difficult. I say I know parents that are committed to Friday lives. I know that, if this parent is not on Friday life, then something is wrong. Because they understand that it is not just about learn this and just go, 2-3 months, you're not here. Then maybe when you see a particular topic that strikes you, then you feel that, you need to learn this thing. You come back again. But it needs a process. It needs you to be in a place of continuous knowledge. And that's why we're going to be starting, our inner circle thing. Come next year, inshallah. May Allah spare our lives. May Allah make it easy for us to, put everything in place and actually begin. And the last point that we're going to be talking about today is to pay positive attention and praise when your child demonstrates self-discipline. You see, a lot of problem that we also have as parents is that we don't see the good things that our children do. The only thing we see is the bad one. Because that is the one that will help us to criticize. That is the one that will help us to say that, okay, yes, you did not do this. That is the one that will help us to feel in control, in total control of everything that is going on. So we don't see the good thing. You wake up very early in the morning, your child woke up before you or something, that child has performed ablution, that child was the one that called you, you just stand around, you just say, oh, thank you. No, it's a time that you say that, oh my God, so you did this, wow. You praise them. Praise them in a way that you have a particular reason why you're praising them. You are praising them for a particular thing, not just a blind praise. You did so well, no. I appreciate the fact that you woke up so early today. You finished dressing up. You finished early. You've packed your this. You've packed your that. Recognize it. Pay positive attention and praise when your child demonstrates that self-discipline, that thing that you want to see. They will do it sometimes. Take time. I say some things to my children like, oh my God, what would I have done without you in my life? And they'll be like, oh, you know that feeling. Everyone knows that feeling, that butterfly in their tummy when somebody praises them for something they've done right. It's the same thing for children. So you want to pay positive attention and praise, good behavior. Praise that discipline when you see it. Oh my God, you did your homework before I came back from work. That's so awesome, mashallah. Oh my God, give me a high five. You see, all of these things does not necessarily, it does not need big things. It does not need you to always buy gifts. It does not need you to always buy toys and the likes. No. It just needs you to be able to recognize it, to acknowledge it, and to praise it. You can say, oh my God, give me things that makes them happy, that makes them feel like, oh my God, mommy is so happy. You constantly want to do that thing. You constantly want to do that thing. And that's exactly what, that's where your results will come from. However, we need to know that we need to put in the work. We need to do the work. And the last one that I'm going to be talking about, I've spoken about it because there is no point I want to talk about that I will not talk about it. It's modeling. You have to model what you want to see in your children. You have to model what you want to see in your children. So don't be in a place where you say, do you know how much I pay for school fees? Do you know how much I did it? You did not do your work. You're not serious with your work. And you too. It is how much you pay for course too that you did not follow through that course. Or you feel that because you have paid for the course, then everything you should, like, you have everything. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to be able to, be sure to, when you commit to something, you have to commit to it to the end. That's the only time you can get your results. You need to commit to it. Model what you want to see in your children. Thank you, Stars Leha. You need to model what you want to see in your children. Model it. Model. I can't say this enough. And that's why before I come to the place of criticism, before I come to the place of judging my children, I just look inside. These children, they are learning this thing somewhere. Just like we said, children are not giving to us damaged. My phone is on 2%. Children, I'm trying to round off. So children are not giving to us damaged. Our children are not giving to us damaged. It is the environment that we create for them that actually make them to do some bad behavior. Children are not bad. So whatever bad behavior you are seeing in your child, you want to introspect. Like, look within. What is it that I am not doing right? What is it that I need to do more? What is it that I need to do better, right? And with this, we have come to the end of today's session on helping your children to learn and grow through discipline. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you are going to be going home with an action plan. Like I always say, don't come to session like this without leaving with an action plan. If you leave without an action plan, you are not different from those who saw the flyer and didn't come, right? So please try as much as possible to leave with an action plan and put it in place as soon as possible. Thank you so much for joining me on today's Friday Live, right? I'll see you next Friday again, inshallah. May Allah spare our lives. I hope that you got value. If you did, don't keep this to yourself. The moment the replay to this is shared, it's going to be shared. The YouTube link is going to be shared. The link for the Telegram replay is going to be shared. Please share it far and wide and let other parents also come and, learn from this. If you're listening to me for the first time, I am Marifa Otolorin, like I said before, and I'm the founder of Lola Loves Parenting. Try as much as much as possible to follow us on our social media and do Instagram, TikTok, at Lola Loves Parenting, right? And Facebook. Yes, we have a Facebook page too at Lola Loves Parenting. And don't forget to also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Marifa Otolorin of Lola Loves Parenting. So thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate this. I do not take this for granted. I hope to see you again next week, Friday. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.